request.
Welcome to everyone. I guess I need this. Welcome to everyone, and thank you for being here tonight for the Board of Directors meeting of the Pine Ridge at Fort Myers Village 1 Condominium Association. Tonight is January 16th, 2019. It is 6:30 p.m. at the clubhouse on 4801 Lakeside Club Boulevard, Fort Myers, Florida. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. May I have the roll call, please?
Yeah, since we don't have a current secretary, I'll call the roll. Mike Lallen. Here. John Fricker. Here. Isabel Costanza.
Here.
Janet Mirando.
Here.
Scott Harris. Here. Here via iPad. Ken Jerome.
Here.
And Phil Schifano.
Here.
So we have a full board.
And do we have proof of notice of the meeting?
The notice was properly noticed. Yes.
Okay. On the open forum, do we have anyone?
Yes. Looks like we have a few.
A few.
The first person is Tom, I believe, right? Tom Trino.
Okay, Tom, you may come up, please.
Around the mic.
Please speak into the mic so everyone can hear you.
Yeah, and just state your name.
Hello, Tom Trino, 4741 Blackberry Drive. I just had a quick question about the status of the re-roofing project. I think ours was scheduled for maybe last year, but kept getting delayed. Or do we have that on the schedule yet for the villas?
Yeah, we're currently bidding out the roofing. There's 19 roofs, I believe, to be done this year. And I'm not sure if yours is 2019 or 2020 off the top of my head. I know I've spoken to your wife about it a couple times. But I can't remember what.
Okay, I think it's on this.
Hey, well, you have to pick that mic. Oh, you mean him?
In 2019 and 2020, we have roofs that will be done. Then there's a break and it starts back up again in 2023. The roofs are done when when it reaches 18 years old. There was one condo building last time that we had inspected that was deemed in good enough shape that it could make it one more year. So we held off on that one until this time around. But we're currently compiling the bids. We're just about done to where I'll have an analysis to present to the board so they can move to the contract stage or whatever the next steps are. As far as your specific roof, I can double check the date, whether it was this year or next year, but that's all in motion, yes.
Okay. So it should be done this year.
The ones that are scheduled for 2019 will be done in 2019.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Who's next?
Next, we have Michelle Locke.
Hi, Michelle. How are you this
Hi,
evening?
Michelle Locke, 4701 Lakeside. I also have a roof question. My roof that wasn't properly put on in 2017 is still not fixed.
Yep, we have Crown Roofing coming out also with a representative of our own to do a full decking inspection underneath through the attic space of all of the roofs that we believe are troubled. They're taking the position that there isn't going to be that much damage we want to make sure that there isn't that much, or that there is very little. So January 24th and 25th, if you're one of the affected people, expect to get a call from my office letting you know an approximate time that we will be in to do your attic decking inspection. The one thing that I'm going to ask those of you who are involved in that process is when we have our inspectors coming in and out, keeping like the small talk and talking at the beginning and the end to a minimum, because we've got to move through and get this complete so we can get the report. And as Michelle says, you know, it's of course January of 2019 and it was done in 17, but we're over a year from when it was done, so we need to try to come to some resolution. If it goes the legal route, which I'm hoping that it doesn't, I'm hoping that we can you know, identify anything that is a problem and they'll take care of it. But if it goes the legal route, I mean, be prepared for something that could take years.
Well, I would want them to
But-
fix it and go their legal route for how many years, but I
Let's
don't want.
cross that road when we get there.
Well, we've already been a year and a half, but anyway,
Well, the
okay.
24th and 25th is when the inspections will take place.
Okay.
And you will be contacted from my office if you're going to be a part of that, and we'll give you an approximate time that
Okay.
we'll be there.
All right, and I also wanted to talk about an issue that I spoke about in July when a lot of the snowbirds weren't here. There is a problem in our community of defamation of character. I have been a victim of it. And there's also a problem with directed energy weapons. If you don't know what they are, you can look it up on the internet. There's over 500 patents in the United States of directed energy weapons. I've recently been told that I have a bad reputation in the community. I also recently was told that I am going down. Most people would interpret that as a threat, and I did, and I contacted the police. So, I've been a victim of both of these things now for going on 3 years in this community. Eric's very aware of it. Sorry if I'm shaky, but I get nervous in front of crowds. But if anyone has a complaint against me, address it with me. Don't talk about me behind your back. And don't slander me. Don't say I'm crazy. Don't say I'm violent, because I'm not. I've never had an arrest. I've never done anything wrong. If you have an issue with me, I will be happy to address that with you directly. But cease and desist slandering me and talking about me behind my back. There are other people who are also victims of this crime in this community. We are supposed to be adults here, and we are supposed to be above gossiping and bullying. If anyone is interested, I have a community notice that explains this crime that exists in our community. Some may think that they are protected by cooperating with it, but as I said, or as I would like to say, every deed done in secret will be exposed. If you don't know anything about this, I highly recommend reading this notice. And I highly recommend not listening to someone who's talking about someone else that you don't know and slandering them. Thank you very much. And does anybody want to notice? Sorry, I'm so
You know,
shaky.
one thing I'll just add as manager is everybody lives in the community together, and I can't speak to the directed energy part of it, but everybody lives in the community together. You guys didn't choose each other. You came together by buying the condos. You don't have to love your neighbor. You don't have to like your neighbor. You can really not like your neighbor at all, but you do have to respect your neighbor and respect their boundaries and respect, just show them the basic respect that you would expect to receive from them. So, you know, I don't know how much of this is or isn't going on in the community, but gossiping and things like that, usually it's far from the truth, whatever you're hearing, and if it's disrespectful towards someone else, it's really not what's best for the community.
Next, we have, I've got
Ed and Pat, Ricky, or Ed and or.
beat her up. Where's she at?
Good evening. I'd just like to ask two little things. We have a list posted for the retired old men eating out. Any retired old men, we January 28th, 1:30 p.m. at the Mixed Grill. There's a sign-up sheet on the wall. Point number two, we have a preliminary list put up on the board for the Pine Ridge Day. For the people that are new here and are not aware of it, it's one of our biggest days of the year. And there is a volunteer list. We would appreciate as much help. And as the date gets closer, we will notify the people and try to give them enough to do. So it makes it easier for everybody to enjoy the day. Thank you.
Eddie, that's Romeo, right?
Yeah, you're a retired old guy. You know.
Well, I mean, it's listed under Romeo.
Yeah.
Ruth?
I'm just, Ruth DeBratt. Just wondering if
Get the mic.
I have a loud voice.
I know, but it doesn't seem to matter around here.
If the board would consider extending the.
Pull it down.
Speak
Is that
right into
better?
it, Ruth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
You stay right there.
Okay, if the board would consider extending the walking trail out to Sailview. Just wondering if, you know,
What she's asked is if the board would consider extending the walking path so it had an access to Sailview, I guess on the corner there on the.
Right,
on the,
right, so there would just be a loop all the way around.
Okay.
So, thank you, that's all I did wonder, hopefully you would consider it, would just be easier with all of our bikes and the golf carts and things like that.
Yeah, that's been suggested before. What she's asking is if the board would consider to put in addition to the walking path that connects it to Sailview Court, the end of Sailview Court. So that's something that I guess the board will look into, right?
Maybe one else.
Yes. Tom and Sherry McIntyre.
Oh, thought it might be Tom.
I got coerced. Not by Tom. I just wanted to remind everybody that we're going to the Broadway Palm on February 19th, and the show is Guys and Dolls, and it's $56, and we still have some room. So we just wanted everybody to know, and it's not just women. Guys and dolls can go.
And it's lunch is included.
Pardon?
Make sure they know lunch is included. Lunch is included.
Lunch is included.
Will you coerce?
I didn't coerce. Coach. There we go.
I think we're finished with all of those. Oh, yes, I'm sorry we didn't get the other half. Come on up. Sorry about that.
First of all, I want to say welcome to our new board, the old board coming back. Have a good year.
Thank you very much. I hope we do.
Good. And this is stuff from the social club. We have a ladies' luncheon on January 23rd, and it's $9, and it's still time. If you have room, there's no sign up anymore. Just put your check in, and please come to the luncheon. Then that's on January 23rd. Then we have a karaoke ice cream social for all new people to come and meet the old people and sing and have a good time. That's on January 27th. And then for all the old people that have been here forever and ever, like you're one of the old
What are you looking over here?
No, I'm looking at you, I'm looking at Ken, and I'm looking like at the Webbers, I'm like, well, those old people, and Mary Ann, okay. We're having a Winterfest dinner dance on the 30th of January. Your check has to be in by the 26th, it's $20 per person, and we have Buffy for our entertainment, everybody remembers Buffy.
Right.
So please sign up and come, because it's for all us old people, okay? That's it, thank you.
Thank you.
Hooray for those old people.
Okay, would anyone like to have a meeting or vote that we don't have the reading of the minutes from the previous meeting?
So let's waive those.
All right, do I hear a second?
I second it.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay, then we have the manager's report.
We have a full house. It's nice to see everybody back again. Welcome. I'm going to run through some things that are going on very quickly because I have a little bit of a list. This past month we've been working pretty hard. I know there have been some changes around here that I'm sure some of you have noticed. But it seems like it's so far so good and positive changes. But some of the things we've done this month or are looking at, we installed new bulletin boards. The social club had requested new bulletin boards, and they came out much better than the old ones, and gives the social club a little more room to advertise their numerous events, which it's nice to see that they're having. Bocce ball, we've gotten some work orders and complaints that there's some mold and black dirt on the carpeting, especially along the edges. And we've had that cleaned, and then I even today had them go back and try to touch that up and see if we can get it a little cleaner. And that's about as good as we can get the existing bocce ball. Being that we've redone the tennis court and the shuffleboard and the pickleball along with the tennis court, this year we were going to try to squeeze one more season out of the bocce ball, unless it's totally unplayable. And what I need to know is from the bocce ball players if we can make it through. I think it's good not only to budget things out for money reasons, that's really not the reason, but to budget things out so we always have something new. We redid the two court areas this year. Next year we'll have the third one redone. Cornhole, though, is an event that is coming, that they're going to start behind the clubhouse, and we're going to install some lighting to make that possible. So look forward to that. And it's going to be located right out here in back by our new shaded picnic area and our shaded grill area. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to be back there and take a look, but it came out really nice. We have a nice picnic area now. We also redid our entire dock, and it looks beautiful. We're finishing up getting it set up, but it looks beautiful. We even performed a wedding ceremony there on Saturday, right on the dock. And I couldn't have pictured a more beautiful spot to do that. So back here, I think we've improved upon what we've had quite a bit, and I think it's a good, solid addition to the community. The dumpster on Sailview that has been damaged for quite some time was to be replaced on the 9th of January. My understanding is that it was. So for those of you who are asking about that. Shop area, we've been working really hard to clear all the debris and things that were being saved for forever for no real reason. And not have a junkyard back there, but actually have a maintenance yard. And it's come a long way. We pretty much have it there. The next step will be organizing and inventorying the inside the way that it should be done. But we are working on that. And we also put some plants in today meant to hide some of that maintenance stuff, because there are going to be times where we do have things out when we're in the middle of work. So we planted some plants in a strategic way to try to hide some of that stuff from you guys. So we've done in the back of the dock, the picnic area, the grill area, the fire pit. We also installed a small shed over here that is to house the games and the tents and all that stuff for Pine Ridge Day. So that way we're not hauling it back and forth all the way across the community. And that way also, as we get our shop organized, it's not a game room / shop. You know? A lot of you are probably wondering about the employment status, the job search, and where and when are we going to have someone. I know Janet's only been the interim president, but her and I have talked about it, and I think it's more important that we find the right person and we take our time than go out and just get somebody because we're short-handed right now. Frankly, we're not short-handed. We are caught up on just about everything, or will be within the next week or two. We have brought in some temporary hands to help out and see if maybe one of those people would be a good addition to the team, maybe in a lower role. We haven't found one yet that we like, but we're going to keep going. I also have an ad posted online. I got a couple of responses, I've got several responses. A couple of them look promising, but for those interested in that, we do intend to have another maintenance worker / janitorial worker in the very near future. But in the meantime, Bruce is doing a tremendous job, and we are really caught up on just about everything, and what we're not, we will be shortly. The cable contract is to be signed. In fact, it is signed. There is just one term in the contract that leaves something open that could end up costing the association some money. So we'd like to have them change that one thing. So we've sent over the note that if they're willing to just reword one item, and that's basically the same thing that happened, or what happened last time. Because remember they said that our new rate would overlap supersede our old, our new rate would supersede our old rate. We were paying 44, something we were going down to 34 or something. So he said, as soon as you sign it, we'll lower your rate. So I remember Tommy just got off an airplane or something, ran over here to sign it as fast as he could, because sooner the better, we start saving money. Then they kept sending us bills for the same amount because the vice president of Comcast gets around to signing them whenever she gets around to it, or has very, very many of them, So they had it on this contract, one term, where it said that once the contract is fully executed by both parties, that's when it will begin, and our lower price than what we're currently paying will begin. Not the date, February 1st, like our other contract ended January 31st, which we honored, exactly our obligation. The new contract should really start February 1st, regardless of whether she signs it or not. So we're going to try to get that changed, because if not, it does cost the association 3% more than what we were paying last year per month, and they had no intention of returning that money to us this time. So, you know, we expect the February bill to reflect the new contract. So we're waiting for a response on that. The card reader in the back pool gate, if you were inconvenienced by it, you probably know that that was down for a day or so, or maybe a little bit longer. We got that replaced. We were able to get the card reader ourselves, and Bruce put that on. The DVR at the front entrance has malfunctioned. We sent it to the company under warranty to see if it could be repaired. But in the meantime, we also bought a new one, so that way we're still in business up there. And if the company fixes it, we'll have it as a backup if it's a warranty issue. Sidewalks around all the condos were pressure washed today. And from what I saw, it looks pretty good. I haven't seen all the sidewalks, but it looks pretty good. We've got a new pest control contract, which is under new business. But if you don't mind, Ms. Chairman, do you want me to just address
Do it
that
now,
now?
yes.
Yeah. Lenny's Pest Control had been our provider for a year or two. I heard that his technician had made a couple of rude comments to some of our residents, and I didn't think his treatments were actually as effective as they should be. So we went ahead and terminated them late last year, and we did not replace them until January of this year. Our new pest control company is actually, you've seen them out here before because they spray the shrubbery and the grass and all that stuff for grubs and things like that. It's personalized pest control, and they will be out the first Thursday of every month, and they're spraying the perimeter where the wall meets the foundation of your unit with a much more effective pesticide than what the other company was using. So I don't anticipate having too many inside problems. However, included, you know, as part of this contract is if you have bugs inside the house, with the exception of a couple varieties that wouldn't be included, but 90% of the time, if you have bugs inside the house, they will come in and treat, you know, at no charge. If it's a bug that's inside the house that's caused more by your action, not by getting in from the outside, then that may not be covered, and that type of thing. We were paying $550 a month. The new contract will be $583 a month. It's a $33 increase, but I think it'll be well worth it. Something I want to talk about, I don't know who did it or how it happened, but a lot of construction debris was in our recycling dumpster last week. And the trash company called and sent pictures and the whole works, and they have to fine us $264.
Wow.
$264 because of this construction debris. I don't know why someone would put that in there, especially because we have the bulk area. It's actually closer to where they were probably coming from. I don't know if the person who did it is in this room, or if you know them, or whether they'll hear this or not. But it's important that we follow that. If you think about $264 in the scheme of millions, which is what the association deals with, it's not all that much. But if you think about it in the scheme of your own, it's basically 1 month of one of your dues that we just gave away for free, for no reason. So we really, this is the first time in 6.5 years that I've encountered where we've been fined for it. But if you know of the person, or if you see someone doing it, televisions cannot be thrown in the recycling thing. We've had that before. It's for, you know, it's listed right out there what it's for, but we all know newspaper, cardboard, plastic bottles, cans. And then we have the bulk area for any larger items, television, stuff like that. So please follow it, because if you think about it, 1 month of one of your dues, basically, we just gave away. And how dumb is that, you know, if you really think about it? Roofing bids I covered in the open forum. We're getting five bids. We just about have them all in, and they're compiling them into a spreadsheet. And hopefully the board can make a decision on that maybe by the next meeting. We intend to start roofing somewhere between the end of March and the middle of April, and wrap it up before it starts raining every day, hopefully. Our cleaning crew, we put them on notice. We call it a 30-day notice. We set some expectations for them, though, that we said if you do it, you follow it, you know, we're show us you can do it. Here's your shot. So they have been here. It's been 1 week since that. I've seen some improvement, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be here that much longer. But they've been put on notice, and I've set expectations of what we want each week, and we want uniformed people, and we want reports. And if they don't submit that to our satisfaction, they'll be terminated at the end of the month. Fire extinguisher inspections are being scheduled. We're also going to add a fire extinguisher outside where we added all the things that could catch on fire. I don't know if you've seen, I know I've seen, even crossing the street during the daytime, the raccoons are starting to become a little bit of a nuisance again. So we're putting traps out around the community in strategic locations. We pick 2 or 3 spots at a time. And it's never going to be a problem that's fully resolved. And we have a wildlife removal company come and who takes them and sets them free far away from here. Yeah, if he was smart, he would do it right outside the gate. Actually, once they get caught in a raccoon trap, they will never get caught, and they get out, they will never get caught again. Sure. They're that smart is what they said. So it wouldn't help him to do that. But we thin out the population. I think we've removed something pretty close to a dozen. I think we got 1 stray cat, possibly. Yeah, but we use Bobby's wildlife removal, and the reason why we chose Bobby back then was because he was the only one that kept the animals alive. Every other one.
No kidding.
So,
Okay.
just so you know that. We do have some landscape work orders. Some of them have been in for quite some time that we haven't gotten to because we've still, believe it or not, still hurricane things have still been popping up there. But next week we intend to take care of all of those work orders. We're starting to get bids for painting the buildings. The painting will either take place at the end of 2019 or the beginning of 2020. So we're going to see what we can do with that. The gray color, interestingly enough, just to expound on that, I was talking to a painter today, a guy that works with a big paint company, and he was telling me that his company is doing all of the units, or one subdivision down in Lely Resort in Naples, and they're painting all the buildings. They have them, like the tans and oranges and yellow, like a Coconut Point type style, and they're going all to gray, exactly what we have. So, isn't that interesting how things go around? Because I laughed, I said to them, 5 or 6 years ago, they wanted to go here. They were talking about going that route. But yeah, so as far as colors, that's a separate issue, but we're going to get the bids, and then either keep the color the same, or it'd have to go out to a vote to the community to change it. Building 102, half of that needs the floor finished. We met with a contractor today who's more likely than not going to come in and finish that up. And I would expect that it will be done by the middle of next month, probably before the February meeting. That'll be completed for those of you. Building 102. Tree trimming, my note is that it continues. You see, we'll never run out of trees to trim here. Right? That's the business to own in Pine Ridge. But Everything that we're trimming is stuff that's either touching our house or near a roof or something that could potentially be hazardous. We did trim a branch off back here so the light would reach the dumpster and the cornhole area. But for the most part, that's what we're doing. If you have anything that you think is in that category, hazardous, dangerous, going to cause some other type of problem in the future, let me know. The best way to let me know is to write it down on a work order, and then we'll have our tree guys look at it and make their assessment of what should be done. But usually with that, we like to defer to the experts. The pool and spa got inspected at the end of December, and we passed perfect, just so everybody knows. So good job, Bruce. And something I get asked a lot about, and I just made a note of, is we hear about these committees, and how do I join a committee? Well, you join a committee by saying that you want to be on the committee. So,
Really easy.
I don't think you want a committee of 100 people, but usually we don't have 100 volunteers trying to volunteer for those people. So if you want to be on a committee, let us know, or the chairperson of that committee. And I think Janet has actually assigned me who she'd like to chair each committee this year.
You might as well go ahead and give that now, if you will, please. Or you through with your other stuff.
I have a couple other things, but for the committee chairs, we have Scott doing the landscape, the website, and the budget. We have.
That's that guy on there, and that, he's not on there?
He's got it. We've got John Fricker with rules and regulations. Safety and security, Ken Jerome. Architectural review, Mike Lallen. The amenities and lake committee, and also the screening committee are going to go to Phil Schifano. And the liaison to the social club will be Isabel Costanzo. And I'm talking a lot, but I'm just going to do a couple of community reminders. Last thing, okay? No big dogs allowed in the community. 25 pounds only, maximum weight. Even visiting dogs. Really, the rules say there are supposed to be no visiting dogs. I know that that's not really practical today because families come and they bring their grandkids and grandkids come and they bring their dog. But we really, if they've got a German Shepherd or a Pit Bull or any type of aggressive type of breed or anything that is obviously over the 25-pound mark, we're going to get complaints and you're potentially going to get in trouble or those people have to leave or have their dog go somewhere else. And we've had to do it before, and it's one of the worst parts of the job for me. But just please, no big dogs. Please don't speed and follow all the traffic devices that we have. I know that was a big topic, and I think if we all work together, we can do it. Follow the instructions posted at the front gate, coming in and going out. If everybody reads the signs and follows the instructions, maybe going out, we need some bigger, big yellow signage and a line across the pavement, something. But going in and going out, follow the posted instructions. It might take you 10 or 15 seconds longer, but it prevents an accident from happening. And if we're going to have accidents happen, let it not be our people that cause the accidents. Let it be the people that we're trying to keep out that are going to cause the accidents. So I would just ask that you please use caution and follow the instructions. Things under the stairwell, we're finding different things under the stairwell. That is an impediment to our cleaning crew, to have to move things from under the stairwell and then move them back. We're going to ask you to not keep things under the stairwell, particularly the most common thing we see is bicycles. Bicycles should be kept on a bike rack, or you can take it in the house, put on the lanai, whatever. But it's really can't be kept under the stairs. Bike racks, of course, we always encourage you to keep your bike locked at all times. And the last thing, that I'm gonna mention is that if we've got, like, as an example, the tree workers that we had today, you know, they're up in a lift 30, 40, 50 feet in the air, cutting branches and things. Sometimes they'll have an area coned off. That's coned off for your safety. I heard something that somebody had either driven in or walked in or whatever it is to the area, I guess, to supervise and see what was going on. But please, everything we do is for your safety, and safety is, like, I like everything to look great and everyone to be happy, but I want everyone to be safe even more than that. So please, heed those signs. And the last note actually is the Lakeside Club fence will start February 1st. Replacing. Thanks, guys.
President, we don't have a president, so therefore we don't have any president report.
The committee reports, we appointed the committees, but I think, Mike, do you want to tell about your meeting?
Yes, we're gonna have an architectural review committee meeting Tuesday, the 22nd of January at 2 p.m. here in the clubhouse. So anyone who wants to come, is welcome to come to that. So again, Tuesday, the 22nd, 2 p.m.
Do we have anybody else that wants to say anything about the committee?
Yeah, I got a report. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for the vote of confidence and re-electing the people that were already on the committee, or not the committee, but the board of directors. So we'll try to earn your respect and your vote. So thank you. Security and Safety Committee, on the evening of January 10, 2019, Joe DeStefan, Ed, Ricky, and myself toured the grounds and streets to observe the lighting enhancement program. Out of 30-plus recommendation, only 4 remain. Eric and the maintenance crew have done a commendable job, and the completion of this project is very close. There's a couple of areas that will adjust the lighting because some people felt that it was too intense on their units, and we're going to correct that. Like Eric talked about earlier, damage to the front entrance arm continues to be a problem. Residents continue to hit the gate because they will not wait to get in. I have experienced many residents tailgating and not waiting at the sign. You know, we have a sign back that just says wait. I'd say probably 90% of the time you're going to get in, but that 10% it might come back and there you go. The cost of to the offender is their insurance deductible. It's an inconvenience to the community. And today I had a very good experience. Somebody that didn't have a pass or whatever was trying to get in our gate. They were right up at the up and down arm, and they couldn't get in. Other residents waited back at the sign, and they couldn't get in, so they had to back out. Now, if you tailgated, your pass would let them in. So it's a matter of security. Wait back there, and if somebody isn't authorized to get in, won't get in. So I think that was a very good experience that I had today. Also, the same goes for the outgate. You know, there's a sign up there to stay back because it opens in. And Eric said he's going to put a line up there and a little more signage so you know to wait back so you don't hit the gate. Hit the gate, like that cost us $1,400. It didn't really cost us $1,400. It cost the person that hit the gate $1,400.
And we got that reduced to
Yeah.
600.
So my recommendation is wait. Save yourself some grief, you know. A couple of bicycles were stolen this summer, and like Eric said, remember to lock them up with a good lock or cable. Last spring, I recommended a couple of good locks that cannot be cut. Sometimes they cost more than a bike, but it's a good lock. A couple of kids came through the fence and fired off some fireworks, a gun. I hope it was just fireworks. We don't know. But there was a breach in the fence on Sailview, which has been repaired. So one thing, if you see something happen like that, do not approach those people. Just call the sheriff, okay? Like Eric said, we want you to be safe. And that's our #1 priority. Okay, thank you.
And the sheriff's office is doing some seminars here. You can sign up on the board, how to avoid frauds and scams and things like that. And it may be good for some of you guys to, if you're interested, sign up for that.
I think we need the treasurer's report now.
Okay, I'll keep it short. Well, it's the third week in the budget year, so we're not off the rails yet, so we're in pretty good shape. We ended 2018 in really good shape, I think. We don't have all the financial statements in, so we'll go into that in detail at next month's meeting in February, and we'll have all the documents that you can expect. Just as a point of interest, I included a table in my handout, and it's a comparison of the maintenance fees from 2006 to 2019. And based on the CPI formula, basically you're paying the same amount of money as you did in 2006 as if you were here. I hasten to point out this is a long-term trend figure because some years are better than others. We were able to keep the fees lower this year than in the previous year, so it averages out. It's a law of averages. But you'll notice especially Condo 2A and Condo 3 are doing very well. They're paying $100 less in actual real purchasing power than they did in 2006. And this shows good management, people in the office, and people that have always been on the boards in the past few years, keeping an eye on things. And it would only be pretty good because it means we're keeping right at the point of inflation, but it would only be pretty good except everybody can see all the capital improvements that we've made. So we don't have entropy. So for the same amount of money, we're actually, I think, providing more than we were in 2006. And that's about it for the Treasury. I would like to say a couple things from the landscape committee. We meet on usually the second Tuesday at 2 p.m. in the clubhouse. And the last couple of meetings, Eric's covered about the trees. We've talked about the different plantings, but we're concentrating right now on the east side of the lake. There's some bougainvillea over there that are struggling and have been for a long time. We're going to try to fix those. They're in the way of the landscape crews to mow because they have to stop and edge around them. So we're probably going to pick those out and then plant them in different parts of the community, either along the fence or in some established beds that need some filling out, and see if we can't salvage them because they're not doing very well where they are right now. And that's it for me.
Thank you very much. Okay, now.
Okay. So now the board will elect officers. The board will elect officers for 2019. And we're going to do this a little differently than we have in the past. In the past, we've done it by secret ballot. With Scott being on FaceTime, I spoke with our attorney earlier, and he advised us that we do it this way. So do I have a nomination for someone to be, or do I have a nomination for one of the board members for them to be president?
I'd like to nominate Janet for the president.
Okay, do I have anybody else nominated for president? So is everybody in favor of Janet being the president of the board for 2019? Please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. I'll do my level best.
Congratulations, Janet. Next, we'll select a vice president. So anyone can be nominated with the exception of Janet now. Do I have any nominations for vice president?
I'd like to nominate Ken Jerome for vice president.
Okay, we have one nomination, Ken Jerome as vice president. Do I have a second nomination?
I'll second that.
I'll second that. Does anybody else want to be nominated as vice, or is anyone else going to nominate anyone as vice president?
Dick Cheney.
No? Cheney? He's already had his turn. So, all in favor of Ken Jerome being Vice President of the Association for 2019? Say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Ken.
Thank you, I'll try to fill those tiny slippers when she's not here.
Treasurer is the next position. And again, Kenny or Janet cannot be the treasurer. Do I have a nomination for treasurer?
I nominate Scott, that he continues with that job.
So Janet nominates that Scott Harris continues with the treasurer job. Do I have any other nominations of a board member as treasurer? Seeing none, everybody in favor of Scott Harris continuing as treasurer for another year?
Aye.
Aye.
We have a unanimous aye. Congratulations, Scott. And the last officer position that we have is the secretary of the board. Do I have any nominations for a secretary?
How about John Fricker? Fricker.
John Fricker nominated.
I second that.
John Fricker nominated and seconded. Do we have anyone running against him as secretary? No? So with that being said, is everyone in favor of John Fricker as secretary of the board in 2019?
Aye.
So you have your officers, Janet Mirando as president, Ken Jerome as vice president, Scott Harris as treasurer, and John Fricker as secretary. Congratulations on your position.
We will try to do a very good job for all of you. And for us too, of course. It'll be good for us, it'll be good for you guys. Anyhow, thank you all very much. The update on street and parking lot Sealcoat project.
Let me explain this one because it's a little bit of a tricky situation. You can't hear me? Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
All right. So this mostly applies to the condo buildings, but we were supposed to seal coat the streets back in, like, shortly after Thanksgiving and have it all clean and nice and ready for Christmas, looking good here. We were unable to do so because we got hung up in permitting with Lee County. And the reason why is because our parking lots are totally backwards, basically. At some point or another, and you can see it if you go out and look at the pavement, the handicap spaces were taken over by resident spaces. I don't know how that happened or when that happened. It was before I got here. Now, we had to resubmit for the permit with the handicap spaces in the correct locations. And now we're approved for a permit. We can go out there and do the job and put it back exactly like we have it. When they come and inspect it, if they see it, there's a chance that it's going to have to be done over again properly, and that's going to involve significant extra costs. So it's taking a gamble if you do it that way. And I'm not sure that it's the right thing to do, to have the handicap space be the furthest away from the building rather than right out front.
It should be done the way they have it done, and it's, whoever did it before, it was done in error, either in error or else they did it differently because people wanted a closer space or for whatever reason, who knows? But I feel that we definitely need to do it the way they say we need to do it. Oh, you don't want me to talk so loud, sorry.
It's her first night as president, but as president, we don't want to express her opinion on an issue because she may sway the board. Not that the board, there may be nothing to decide because, you know, my philosophy is we do the right thing no matter what, and I don't think we can apply for a permit with certain plans and then do something else. But,
Thank you.
no, you're just not supposed to. So, those of you though who have the handicap spaces, obviously that space is gonna have to be adjusted, and it's probably gonna adjust other spaces down the line. We'll try to keep it to a minimum, but in order to comply with what it should be, and it should be where there's room enough for a wheelchair to get out if somebody is. What we have now is really just a parking space with blue lines, but it's not a handicap parking, with the exception of back here. You know. So that's the Sealcoat project permit, and that's another project we like to do like right at the conclusion of the roofing. So the board, and I don't know if you're prepared to make a decision now or make a motion now on realigning the parking lots so the handicap spaces are in the correct location.
I think we are in a position to vote on that now.
Do I ask for a motion?
Yes. All those in favor?
Ask for a motion.
Oh, I have to ask for a motion. Who wants to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, you make a motion.
Ronnie can speak at the end of the meeting. We can't do it during the meeting, no. We can't do it in the meeting, all right.
I'll make a motion that we'll have to, whatever we have to do to get the permit approved, to get the roads sealed, let's do it.
Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to bring up the fact that we need to remind the people that that handicap spot is not for the residents to park in, that's for guests. Because the residents have a space assigned to them.
Right.
So that when the handicap spot is put there, it's for guests or visitors
No, it's not.
relatives
No.
that drive in.
We can't tell a handicap, someone else that has a legitimate handicap tag not to park in a handicap space. But,
So it
you know,
would be nothing then if we change it.
No, not necessarily, because the handicap space would then become first come, first serve. And I don't know how you guys that have the tags do it. I remember when my grandma had it. You know, if we were going out to lunch or something, and there was a handicap space open right up front, but there was a regular space not that far away, she said we take the regular space because there might be somebody a little worse than us and leave the and leave the handicap. And if we all kind of went by that philosophy, then I think it would be fine. So in that respect, Mike is right. I just don't think legally we can tell you that. And if you really need it, you really need it. You know?
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries.
And maybe we can get some of the residents, especially the ones that are going to be affected by the change, to be involved, and we can have a small committee to come up with a new parking format. But we can cross that bridge in about a month.
Okay, and the fencing project, you already spoke to
Yeah,
that.
the fencing project, I accidentally threw it in the manager's report. It should be done very quickly, and it's going to begin February 1st, and the fence should be complete a couple days after. You saw how quickly they could do when you saw what they built on Orange River. It doesn't take them very long at all. And then we'll wait about 5 or 6 days and come back and paint it after the fence is up. So expect to see that probably by the 10th of February, a complete new fence from replacing the wooden fence that fell down during Irma along Lakeside Club Boulevard, coming in and going out.
Now, we have any more questions to come before this board this evening?
Yeah, now, if we have a question about an agenda item, now is the time. Do we have any questions, Ron?
This happened years ago. People came, emergency crews, and they couldn't take the person out because the stretcher would not come through the space, because you had cars parked all the way across the way. That's why they took that one spot out. So if somebody needed a stretcher, they could just wheel them out.
Yeah, and I believe
And
that.
they said
that
they didn't
loading-
even need a handicap, so they moved it across the way. We have a handicap here.
Yeah, the handicaps tend to be the further away spaces, and then the,
Yeah.
and.
But I don't think
and
you
we've
should
gotten
park a
a-
car in that spot.
We've gotten away with it a few times. Now, in the loading zone, where you're talking about, like where the golf cart would park while we're cleaning I think that is required to remain as well. That's not what would be made the handicap spot. Somebody who has a space that was supposed to be handicapped when it was designed.
No, this was a space that a car was parked.
Yeah.
They took that away.
Yeah, we wouldn't take that away. That's required to be next to the handicap, so like people in a wheelchair can get out and get their wheelchair out. That's where we're running into the problems. That's why I got hung up for 2 months and couldn't do the job.
I don't see taking that spot in a car.
They're not going to.
We're not gonna take away the loading zone, that's required. That's part of the handicap.
Okay. So a stretcher can get it.
Yes.
So then you're gonna put the handicap right next to it? That's where it used to
Yep.
be.
The handicap is gonna go wherever it's supposed to go, yeah.
Wherever they tell us that
So where
it
are you gonna
needs.
park that car that's parked there?
We're gonna realign the parking lot as equitably as we can. That's the best thing that I think.
Good luck.
That's the best way we can handle a kind of a bad situation, is realign it as equitably as we can. You know.
Anything else?
I don't think he was making it clear. There wasn't a loading spot. There used to be the handicap spots. They moved it
Exactly.
out.
I understand what you're saying, and I just want to make clear, we're not gonna take that part away. That's actually required to be on. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am?
Just one quick question.
Yes.
On the soffits, when they come through to check whatever they're gonna do.
Shortly after they can fix this off. Yeah.
Okay, so that's all part of this.
Well, once the inspection's done, we'll get the soffit guy. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Here, yes, ma'am?
Can I say something on something I said?
Yes, ma'am? Yeah, that was part of this meeting, Maya. Come up here so we can hear you, please.
And one thing is on the Romeo, if you sign up for the Romeo luncheon and you change your mind that you can't go for whatever reason, please let Ed know, because he has to let the restaurant know how many seats they have to have, and he gets very annoyed if 12 people sign up and he calls and only 6 people show up. So Ed doesn't get annoyed, the guy at the restaurant. So just let him know if you can't make it. And the other thing about the dinner dance, I said for old people. I don't mean old people. People who have been here for a long time, but open to everybody else. Okay, everybody. Young people.
We accept your apology.
I'm sorry? 2 people. Yeah, okay, and the food comes from 2 meatballs in the kitchen, and the ladies' luncheon comes from Mario's. So 2 good restaurants.
The ladies' luncheon is here, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's just for
And it's
old
only
ladies?
for ladies. Oh, and one more thing.
What's one more thing?
One more thing, on the police, the police people coming, the sheriff's department. On March 1st, we're gonna have another thing with the sheriff's department. The lady's gonna come in, and this again is only for ladies, limited to 20 people, and show us how to be safe when we're out, if somebody should approach us, to grab our purse or whatever. She's gonna have a video and she's gonna have demonstrations. And it's limited to 20 people. If we get more than 20, she will come back a second time. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anything else? Hearing none, do I need to see you? Did I see you put your hand up? I didn't, okay. Oh, you were scratching your head, okay. Hearing none, we stand adjourned.